All right, as folks are coming in, welcome everyone to the Counselor Advocacy for the Jewish University Experience, Jewish Student Fair. We are so excited to have you participating in this event tonight, and we have some fantastic schools here joining us. How it will work, they will each have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they will all be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Monica. I'll be your facilitator for this session, and just a few housekeeping reminders before we get started. First, your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists can't see or hear you, but please take advantage of that Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please make sure to check out the full schedule on our website. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available along with the other sessions at strivescan.com/Jewish Student Fair. And I'll put that link in the chat as well. And I would now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Muhlenberg College.
Good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us around the country today. My name is Eric Thompson. I'm Associate Director of Admissions here at Muhlenberg and also proud Muhlenberg alum. Excited to share some information with you about the college and a little bit more about Jewish student life at Muhlenberg. First, to start off, we're in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Allentown is actually the third largest city in Pennsylvania. We're about an hour north of Philadelphia and 2 hours west of New York City. So it's really not too difficult to get to those larger metropolitan areas, but there's some great things to do in Allentown in the greater Lehigh Valley where we're located. We have just over 1,900 undergraduate students, so the average class size is 19. And the student-professor ratio is 8:1. So if you're the type of student who would prefer a smaller classroom environment and really have the opportunity to develop strong relationships with your professors, I highly recommend keeping Muhlenberg on your radar. It's one of my favorite things about the campus. Lastly, on this slide, just wanted to point out our commitment to diversity and inclusion. Our student of color population is just over 21%, and our incoming class, the class of 2026, is the most diverse class in Muhlenberg's history. Wanted to chat a little bit about the academic experience at Muhlenberg. We're a liberal arts college, which means that there's a lot of flexibility in the curriculum. It's not necessarily a personal, a political statement, but means that students have the opportunity to kind of ebb and flow among academic interests. So they don't have to stay in one academic side of the house. There's not too many colleges that will allow a student to double major in theater and business, as I did when I was a student on campus. So I would say about 2/3 of our students do some type of major and minor combination, major and double minor combination on our campus. And I would say some of our academic programs, our most popular ones include the health sciences. Our acceptance rate to medical schools is about 87%. We also are strong in the performing arts, theater, music, dance, business, media communications, political science, and psychology just are a few of the popular majors on our campus. So we want students to take the information that they're learning in the classroom and apply it to things outside of the classroom. So you can see over 50% of our students have a chance to study abroad. And we really want to make sure that students have that opportunity. Things are a little different now with COVID and everything, where we're hoping that percentage will pick back up to where it was pre-pandemic times. Also wanted to highlight that we have great research opportunities. Our students are studying all over the spectrum with regards to research. Just this past summer, more than 60% of our students, or 60 students, had summer research, and that usually includes a summer stipend, also a housing stipend if they're on campus. And then with regards to internship opportunities, this slide needs updating, but we have over 9,000 internship opportunities for our student body on our campus. Another thing to keep in mind about Muhlenberg, we really regard our sense of community. It's something we work really hard to cultivate. More than 91% of our students live on campus, and so it's not a suitcase school. We're ranked in #1 in the state of Pennsylvania for best food. We really want to make sure that our students are satiated and fulfilled as they're making way across campus. Our students are super involved. We have over 120 different clubs and organizations that would also include 22 varsity sports, for Division III. And so our students are well supported on campus from faculty and staff. It's a very student-focused institution, but we're known for being an upbeat campus and a very ambitious campus. Lastly, and probably most importantly this evening for you all, wanted to highlight what Jewish student life looks like on our campus. And I would say over 25% of our students identify as Jewish, and they have great engagement with our LaFell Center for Jewish Life, also known as the Hillel, on our campus. On average, about 80 to 100 students attend Shabbat dinner at the LaFell Center, and there's some great leadership opportunities through the executive board, student engagement, interns, and work study there. Our Shabbat services are student-led, and so super excited to see that. We have a great Hillel staff. The director, Ira Brum, is a Muhlenberg alum and understands what it means to be Jewish at Muhlenberg. We have assistant director, an Israel fellow, a Hillel Springboard fellow as well. So there's some great space for student programming. It's the Hillel kind of works as both a social and study space for our students. Wanted to definitely highlight that there's integrated kosher dining at Muhlenberg. So our main dining hall, the Wood Dining Commons, has a kosher kitchen that's supervised. It's a part of students' meal plan, so it doesn't come at additional cost. And obviously, there's a kosher kitchen in the Hillel. It's important to acknowledge Jewish holidays and observance of Jewish holidays on our campus. So it's pretty interesting to know that there are no classes on Yom Kippur. There's also an academic policy that will respect students with any holiday observance and class attendance that need to be out of class to observe a Jewish holiday. Lastly, also wanted to let you know there are 3 synagogues in immediate vicinity of campus, one Orthodox, one Reform synagogue. We're located in the A roof. There's a Chabad for access for students as well. There's a JCC and a Jewish Federation of the Lehigh Valley and a Jewish Day School, all in Allentown. So I wanted to let you know about those resources in particular. Lastly, are our deadlines here. We have early decision 1, early decision 2, and a regular decision. Here's some contact information. Would love to hear your questions and would invite you, if you have the chance, to come and visit us on campus. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. And next up, we have Amherst College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Will Cummins. I am an Associate Dean of Admission at Amherst College, and you can see right here, this is a beautiful shot of our campus. I promise it's not Photoshop. This is actually what Amherst can look like in the fall. It's a very beautiful, over 1,000 acre campus located in Western Massachusetts. So we are a small liberal arts college of 1,800 students in the Pioneer Valley of Western Massachusetts. It's a place that's characterized by very small classes, 18 or 19 students on average. We have a 7-to-1 student to faculty ratio. I would say that if you're the type of student who enjoys getting to know your peers, who enjoys forming personal relationships with the teachers whom you've had, and you like to be in a discussion-based, intellectually intense environment, then Amherst is a place that I think can make a lot of sense for you. You may be wondering, though, what actually makes Amherst College different from any of the other schools that you may be considering. I'm going to highlight just 2 features. There could be more, but I think there are 2 major ones that warrant a highlight this evening. One is we have what's called an open curriculum. So I imagine all of you attend high schools where you likely have to take a set number of math, science, English, foreign language, and social studies courses. Perhaps there's some electives you're able to take along the way, but generally speaking, you follow a fairly set curriculum or a core curriculum. At Amherst, we do not have a core curriculum. You will not sit down with an advisor and have that person tell you that you must take a certain amount of math, science, English, foreign language, or social studies. What that means is there are no distributional requirements. You have much more freedom to pick and choose or craft a schedule every single semester that best takes advantage of what I assume are the many intellectual and academic interests that you have. And what that means then is in your classes of 18 or 19 people, and you can see in that little middle photo there, that's a fairly typical classroom setup at a place like Amherst, all the students around a table. The people sitting around the room from you all made a conscious decision to be in the classroom, as opposed to 10 who were there fulfilling a requirement and 8 or 9 who actually wanted to be there. So we say that our classrooms are dynamic, vibrant places. It's in part because all of our students made a conscious decision to be in the class. The other thing that makes us stand out to some degree is that we are not the only school in the Pioneer Valley of Massachusetts. If you draw an 8 or 9 or 10-mile radius around Amherst College, you will find 4 other schools, each with its own physical campus, its own student body, its own personality, and its own distinct history. So here are those schools. Mount Holyoke College is an all-women's college. Smith College is an all-women's college. Hampshire is 2 miles from us. It's the smallest of the group. There are about 1,000 students there. It's a co-ed liberal arts college. And last but not least, we have Umass Amherst, which is the big public flagship research university for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. There are over 20,000 total students there. And all of us are connected. We're, like I said, 8 or 9 miles from each other. There's a free bus system that can take you to any one of these institutions and to other local areas of interest. What it means is you can actually take classes at one of these other partner institutions if you'd like to, which means more academic courses from which to choose. It also means you're part of a bigger college community. Your life on the campus isn't just confined to the students around you. Many of our student clubs and organizations will hold events, parties, other activities where they'll invite students from the other 4 schools to join them. You are a part of a bigger group beyond just our own campus. The other thing I'll just mention as a highlight before we move on and talk about some of the highlights of the Jewish student experience is that Amherst is also very well known for having exceedingly generous financial aid policies. We are need blind for every single student who applies for admission, which means if your family can't afford to pay the full comprehensive fee to attend Amherst, that is not at all a disadvantage in our process. We meet 100% of your demonstrated financial need, and we do that through a no loan financial aid policy. And we are giving out somewhere on the order of close to $60 million worth of financial aid per year, and over half of our students actually receive financial aid. I'm actually going to stop sharing now to tell you a little bit about some highlights of the Jewish experience at Amherst. We have on our campus, I think most of what you would find in terms of the Jewish experience would be housed under our Center for Religious and Spiritual Life. And we have a fantastic rabbi. He's affectionately known as Rabbi Bruce, and he is in charge of a lot of the programming and the building of community that happens within the Jewish community at Amherst. So like you've heard from Muhlenberg, at Amherst, we have a Shabbat dinner every single week. And typically what they do is they order food from one of the local restaurants and then have the Shabbat dinner with that food. That happens on a weekly basis. And students can come enjoy fellowship together, and actually not just Jewish students, but even non-Jewish students could even join in for more of a pluralistic community if they'd like. There's also, we celebrate, again, through our Hillel group, all of the high holy days. So over the course of the year, there are observances, services that happen on the campus. And again, here's the benefit of being a part of the 5 College Consortium. It wouldn't be totally uncommon for Jewish students on our campus to potentially attend observances or services on other campuses too, in particular UMass, the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, because of its size, not only has a Hillel group, but also a modern Orthodox community. There's also a Chabad in the area too. So there are ways for students to connect with a broader Jewish community beyond just our campus. And then the only other thing that I would add is on the campus, there's a lot of, I think, respect and understanding that students, when they are observing or celebrating these days, may not be able to attend class on certain days. And then the dining hall also goes to great lengths to provide kosher meals during specific times of year. So it's a place where I think there's a very clear understanding culturally that there are Jewish students on the campus, and the college goes to great lengths to support them and to help the students find community here.
Thank you. And next up, we have the College of Charleston.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen here. It's a pleasure to be with you all tonight. My name is Rebecca Drury. I am an associate director at the College of Charleston down in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. I am also joined by my colleague, Deb Silver, who I will pass it over to in just a moment. You probably can't see the actual shared one, so 2 seconds. We're just going to go off this view, so I hope that's okay. But the College of Charleston is a public liberal arts institution. I'm founded back in 1770 with tons of history on our campus, in our city, all around us. We currently have about 9,300 students on our campus. followed by students coming from 48 different states and territories. And we also have about 56 different countries represented. I mentioned we are a public liberal arts institution, but we do have over 140 different majors and minors to choose from, with our top 5 being in the bottom left-hand corner there. You can double major, you can have a major and a minor, you can do 2 majors and a minor. You can really do a lot with your education at the College of Charleston, and Jewish studies being one of those, which Deb will highlight here in just a few moments. But our average class size is about 23, with a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio. But we don't have a classroom on campus that holds more than 120 students. So you really do get to know your professors, you get to know your classmates, and still have a very impactful relationship with your professors and those classmates. We have about 85 plus of our very own study abroad programs, but outside of those, we have over 1,000 different locations, programs, schools, you name it, to choose from to explore outside of Charleston, whether it be for a semester or for a school year or summer. We then have over 240 clubs and organizations on our campus, everything from a Quidditch team to a belly dancing club, cheese club, you name it, we most likely have it. And then we do have 19 NCAA Division I sports teams, with basketball being our most popular. We don't have football, but I like to think it's because we're still too busy being on the beach during football season anyways. Because as you'll see on my next slide, we do have 3 beaches within a 20 minutes drive of campus. Our students are very involved in the classroom, doing research, but also getting internships in the local area of Charleston, whether it's at Boeing or Volvo, Mercedes-Benz, at the Medical University of South Carolina, which is right down the road from us. That is the #1 teaching hospital in the state. And so our students are doing well in the classroom, but also making an impact in our community as well. The fun facts about Charleston, of course, that the whole city of Charleston really does become your campus because we are located right in the heart of downtown. We are the #1 city in the US by travel and leisure for like 8 years in a row. I mentioned those 3 beaches. The food in Charleston on campus and off campus is amazing. Over 250 startup tech firms. And of course, you can't beat that average weather when it's 57 in January. Depending on where you might be from tonight, Charleston has some great weather pretty much year round. So those are kind of some of the highlights on your everyday student and academic experience. But of course, while we are all here, we want to learn a little bit more about our Jewish studies life, our Jewish life on campus. So Deb, take it away.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I'm really excited to tell y'all about Jewish life and Jewish studies at the College of Charleston, because for many of you, you might be thinking there are Jews in the South. And yes, there are. There are many proud Jews in Charleston, South Carolina. We are in a thriving, really well-established Jewish community. And I like to think that we're very integrated, and Jewish life is very integrated, not just into the college, but also the city. And our Hillel is a little bit different than most Hillels because instead of being its own part of student affairs or its own nonprofit affiliated with campus, we're actually part of the Jewish Studies department. And so what this means for our students is that we're really able to support Jewish students in all aspects of their development in college. So academic, social, emotional, spiritual, all in one beautiful Jewish Studies center, which has academic classes, which has space for student programming, a student lounge, and professor and Hillel staff offices. Rebecca was talking about the different ways to do many majors and minors and create your own combination. And something I just want to highlight is that all of the Jewish studies classes that you could take will contribute to one of the college's requirements in their general education. So whether it's language or history requirement, your humanities requirement, even some English classes will fill something else. So you can kind of double dip, so to speak. And it's really easy to add on a additional minor or major with us. And Hillel is super active. There are about 500 Jewish students at the college. There's always something going on. We have 2 Hillel staff members and lots of opportunities for student leadership. We have a kosher dining hall that is part of the campus meal plan. We have weekly Shabbat dinners, student-led Shabbat services, and we also have a weekly meal on Wednesday that is more of just a social meal that everyone on campus is welcome to. The last thing that I want to highlight really quickly is that we're really fortunate at the College of Charleston. We're so well integrated that we haven't had any real public incidents of anti-Semitism that any of our students have experienced. And the students really report feeling really safe and comfortable being on campus. So thank you so much for your time, and please visit us. We have a beautiful campus. Come visit us all year round. We're totally open. And then Rebecca, if you could just go to the next slide with our contact information. Please get in touch with Rebecca. She can get you in touch with me, either at the CFC website or CFC Hillel website. We would love to hear from you. When you're on campus, please let me know. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, we have the University of Rochester.
Erica, you're on mute.
Sorry about that, folks. My name is Erica Padilla. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the Regional Associate Director of Admission for the University of Rochester. With me today is my colleague. I'm going to let Joy introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Joy Getnick. I'm the Director of Hillel at the University of Rochester.
So to kind of set the stage, Rochester is located about 6 hours north of New York City. We're about 6 hours west of Boston. It's a part of the state that's known as the Finger Lakes region, known for some really beautiful outdoor spaces like the one you see behind me right now, or what you see on your screen right now, which is the River Campus. You can think of the River Campus and the medical center, which is not pictured in this image, as being like the hub or the heartbeat of the University of Rochester. It's actually, the university is also home to 60 other institutes and centers that all participate in research and all kinds of other work. On the River Campus, we have the college, which is home to the vast majority of the bachelor's programs that are offered by the university, with the exception of those that are offered by Eastman, our School of Music, which is in downtown Rochester. Then we also have a School of Nursing directly across the street. We share the River Campus with our graduate schools of engineering, business, education. For those out there that are thinking about pursuing graduate work, we have partnerships with several of those schools to be able to offer direct admission for bachelor's and master's level work. And the same thing is true actually with our School of Medicine across the street for students that might be thinking about going on to medical school. So on the River Campus, we have about 5,500 students that are coming from 140 countries, all states across the union, and the vast majority will live on campus for the entire time that they're at the university. To kind of kick it back for one quick second, now, Rochester is a private tier 1 research institution, but in the world of R1 universities, we're a little bit of an anomaly. The hundreds of millions of dollars that are coming into the university for purposes of research and innovation are not exclusively available to graduate students. Almost 80% of our undergrads will be involved in research. It's a really important part of the experience at the university for students to be able to innovate, some of them to also even get grant funding to fund their own original work through the university. We also have an open curriculum at the university. So there's no such thing as core classes. There's no such thing as general education. If you know what you want to study, or for argument's sake, you don't know what you want to study, but you have different interests, you can actually dive into those the moment that you arrive at Rochester. Having said that, this is a little bit of a sampling of some of the different areas of study that are offered at the university, but you also have the chance to self-design a major if you find that different things kind of come together and make sense as maybe a core area of study. The not having core classes grants the benefit of time to do things like participate in research, studying abroad, participate in at least one internship, and you have a whole support system working with you to help you navigate the open curriculum. The benefit of exploring also means that it's not uncommon for Rochester students to graduate as double majors, so almost half will do that. But I'm going to actually start talking a little bit about student life. I'm going to toss it over to Joy to talk more about campus experience at Rochester.
Thanks. You can go to the next slide if you want. Thanks, Erica. So in terms of Jewish life at the University of Rochester, we think we have 650 Jewish undergraduates, 8% or so And it's a really diverse community, a really vibrant community. We do Shabbat every week. We have student-led services on Friday evenings. We have a home-cooked Shabbat dinner. One of the things I think that stands out is it is a fully inclusive service. It's literally a prayer book that has full Hebrew, full transliteration, full translation and commentary, so that everyone, regardless of background or Hebrew literacy, can be on the actual same page. And I think that that really exemplifies the type of culture that we have in our Jewish community, which is just wanting to make sure that every student can fully participate. For holidays, we do a full gamut. We do high holiday programming involving a guest rabbinical student. We put up a sukkah. We do Passover Seders on campus. For our learning programs, which are really a hallmark of what we do, we offer a lot of cohort-based learning. This is an opportunity for students to get together with a smaller group and meet every week, build those relationships, connect with Jewish life. We have a great relationship with Jewish studies. A lot of our students also take classes in that wing. And something that's particularly special is we have this sort of optional 5th year academic option, which you could text us or chat us more about. And we have a lot of students who do that in Jewish studies, who say, I majored in whatever, but I really want to pursue that Jewish life experience. If you want to flip to the next slide, you'll see someone at one of our Israel events. We have a lot of students interested in connecting with Israel, learning about Israel, questioning Israel, diving into those thoughtful conversations. And that's a source of pride that we're a space that you can travel to Israel and also learn about it on campus in a way that hopefully feels authentic and meaningful to you, and also just hang out and have a beautiful social life. I can talk a little more on the next slide. You can look at our sukkah if you want. In terms of kosher food, we have a kosher meat station in our regular dining hall. We also have a fully kosher kitchen here at Hillel. We have a lot of synagogues in the area. I will say none are walkable, but they're all very welcoming and accessible. And overall, it's just a really positive place to be Jewish. I'm a proud alum. I'm actually a 3rd generation alum. And I think that says something about the positive experience that we had. We'd love you to stay in touch with us. I think you have on the next slide. And feel free to come and visit as well. Eric, anything else you want to add?
On your screen right now are different application cycles. So if you have questions about the application process or visiting campus, let us know. And we hope to stay in touch with you. Thank you all so much for your time tonight.
Thank you. And just a reminder to all our attendees, feel free to make use of that Q&A button to submit any questions you might have, both for specific colleges at tonight's event, but also just general, anything you'd like to know about the admission process. Please feel free to submit. And I will now turn it over to Arizona State University.
All right, I'll wait for my colleague Debbie to join us. My name is Brad Barch. I am the Senior Director of Admissions here at ASU, so thanks for joining. I am joined by an amazing colleague. Debbie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Debbie Younger-Kale. I'm the Executive Director here at Hillel at Arizona State.
So I'm going to spend the first part just talking about ASU and then let Debbie dive in to go into Hillel and all the opportunities for students there. First, I want to share that ASU is defined by our charter. So no matter where you go on campus, people that you talk to affiliated with the university community, we want to be judged by who we include on this college campus and how they succeed here. And so where a lot of times universities will focus on selectivity, rigorous admission requirements, we believe that students that meet the requirements at this university don't need to compete for a spot, that they have all the tools capable of doing well, and we expect them to do well when they come here. And so when students step foot on this campus, they are part of one of the most vibrant, inclusive campus communities in the country. It's also one of the largest public university in the country as well. A lot of universities will talk about having a member of every state represented on their college campus. Here at ASU, we are the top public university for international students, and we have a student from every congressional district in the United States. So when you break it down like that, it's just a different viewpoint. The other thing that's really important to understand is while being very, very large, there's all these ways that students can customize their experience here at the university. Not only are we the top 10 public university for first year experience, but also the top 10 in undergraduate teaching. And so ASU has redefined what it means to be a university going into the century that we're a part of. And there's this energy that you find within the campus community to really challenge what a student's university experience is and what the public good is of being a part of this university community. The other thing that's really important to understand when you look at ASU in your college search is we're spread across 4 campus locations in the 5th largest city in the country. All these campus locations are ASU together. You're a Sun Devil no matter what campus you attend. Typically, your degree program determines what campus you're going to be at, but we also realize that students are selecting ASU for a variety of different experiences. And while a lot of students will think of the traditional large campus environment that we automatically think of ASU, we have smaller, intimate campuses as well. When students attend the university, they never have to bounce around between the campuses, but if there's unique classes offered at another campus, they're able to enroll in them. All 4 of these campuses are connected by a shuttle system that operates from 6 in the morning to 11:30 at night every 15 minutes. It's just our way of life here at the university. For example, last week alone, I took the shuttle to every single campus and took it to one campus twice in the same week. It's just the way that we do things here. There's also a lot of advantages to attending a large public university in the 5th largest city in the country. All of the state's Fortune 500 companies are headquartered in the Phoenix metropolitan area. And throughout the pandemic, Phoenix has become one of the top growth cities in the country. People are flocking here for a variety of different opportunities. You're finding businesses are relocating here as well. And it's not just because of Phoenix itself, it's the ability for these companies and business to partner with the #1 innovative university in the country. To get into degree programs, I just want to provide you some tools that you have at your disposal to use. We have over 400 different degree programs at this university. And so to narrow that down is sometimes difficult and can be a challenge. And some of you are like, I know what I want to study. And many of you have too many interests and don't know where you want to start. ASU designed a tool called Me3, which is based upon a whole set of psychological research where you can swipe through photos and career interests, and it will link back to the different types of degrees that the things that you are interested in and that you enjoy doing and the types of outcomes that you could have in those different degrees. So I'd just like to present that to you as you're doing your college search right now and you're overwhelmed by all of us communicating with you, that there's a tool there to help you narrow down your list. Finally, I just want to talk briefly about scholarships. We award these for all, or we consider all students for these merit-based awards at time of admission. We do have an estimator online where you can go and put your GPA and the types of classes that you've taken, and it will estimate what you're likely to receive. So again, another really great tool as you're beginning your college search. With that, I want to turn it over to Debbie to talk a little bit about the Jewish student experience here.
Thanks so much, Brad. So in case you didn't catch it from Brad, ASU is not small. It's really big. And we really subscribe to the charter also to be measured not by who we exclude, but by who we include and how they succeed. And that's what Hillel is all about, is being inclusive to all Jewish students here. So there's an estimated 3,500 Jewish students. There are 3 professionally staffed organizations, Hillel, Chabad, and this should say Olami. They changed their name recently, so apologies to them. We operate our center as a community center that's open, all day, most days. So it's a really great place to come hang out. There's also a lot of different student organizations, many of which we advise. There's kosher dining on campus, as well as easily accessible food if you're keeping kosher for Passover. And so there's a lot of good eating options right here. So Hillel is again here to kind of just help you navigate and make ASU smaller, whatever you need, whether that's a home base for your whole daily life, or you want to dip in for something specific like just holidays and Shabbat, or just leadership, or just one of our amazing classes. We also help students connect to the community for jobs and internships. I just helped a graduating senior, well, I guess now she's graduated, who met her boyfriend on birth rate 3 years ago, and they're still together. We just helped her get a full-time job when the company she had an offer from rescinded like hundreds of offers all at once. They were contracting. And so with our connections, we were able to help her. I think, am I at time? Yeah. Okay, cool. So anyways, there's a lot of great stuff going on here. And the most important thing to know is just that we care about your whole identity. And we want you to support your growth no matter what direction that's going in.
Thank you. And next we have Northwestern University.
Hi everyone, give me just 1 second while I have my lovely screen set up over here. My name is Alyssa Colton. I am an assistant director at Northwestern University, and I actually help manage the Purple Preview program, where prospective students such as yourselves can actually try and connect with our current students depending on what your interests are. So that's always a good idea for you to do. So I'm actually having some issues with my sharing screen apparently, because that's what happens when you want this to happen. So I will not be sharing my screen. Just to give you an idea, Northwestern is in the quintessential town of Evanston. It's a wonderful campus. It's located 3 miles from a very cosmopolitan city that I think you all know, Chicago. It's actually 3 miles from the city line and 11 miles from downtown. A great opportunity for students is that they have many different ways of getting to Chicago from the Northwestern campus in Evanston. You can use the L, which is the elevated train. You can go on the Metro, or you can actually go on the free inter-campus shuttle, which will take you right to downtown Chicago. It'll drop you off right in front of the Art Institute, which is absolutely great. That's one of the reasons why a lot of students are interested in Northwestern. They'll be able to be in a quintessential college town while still having access to a world-class city, which is our neighbor, Chicago. Now, a little bit about who we are. We have students from 50 states, including 95 plus countries. Our undergraduate population is 8,000 undergraduate students who call Northwestern home. And we think that's absolutely fantastic because we have diversity regarding every single possibility, such as how students identify, what religion they identify themselves with, or how they identify themselves. So something that's really important also for us in Northwestern is to keep our class base to 6-to-1 student ratio. So an average class is usually 20 people or less, which we encourage so that students can actually interact very well with their peers as well as their faculty. We really do encourage that. And something, if you didn't know about Northwestern, we're on a 6-school basis. So we actually have the Muhlenberg College of Arts and Sciences, which is our largest school. Then we have the McCormick School of Engineering, which we have a whole brain thinking approach. So we want you to be able to solve engineering problems in the classical way, but also in a creative way. You have the School of Communication. You have the Bean School of Music, which is our great music program school. And then you have the School of Education and Social Policy, as well as the longest named school, which is the Medill School of Journalism, Media, Integrated Marketing, and Communication. So one thing we really want to emphasize is our community. We have 26 unique campus residences, as well as 15 detail and residential dining locations on campus, which Rabbi Jessica will be able to get into a little bit more than I will. Just know that you have a variety of different spaces where you can live. And something that we really want to emphasize as well is our collaborative culture. We have around 500 or more undergraduate organizations, and they, like everyone else, they have a great variety. We have from our charcuterie board to a Formula One club, which are absolutely fantastic. And a really big point for us is that we are part of the Big Ten sports university group. So with that, I would love to have my great presenter, Rabbi Jessica, talk a little bit more about Jewish life.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. So I'm Jessica Lott. I'm the campus rabbi at Northwestern Hillel. And one of the things you've heard from my other Hillel colleagues, but we really believe it as well. Hillel is not just a place, but Hillel is a community on campus for Jewish students. We do have a beautiful, recently renovated building that's right in the heart of campus. And at Northwestern, there are about 8,000 undergrads, 15% of whom are Jewish. So that means that there are at any given time, like 11 to 1,200 Jewish students on campus. And we have 10 people on staff at our Hillel. So we also have like a really great staff to student ratio, and we really know our students really well. Hillel is a diverse and connected community. So whether you're someone who wants to show up at large events like our Latka Palooza, which is our big Hanukkah party that had like 300 students at it, or whether you want to be part of a small focused student group, like a composting group that does composting initiatives all over campus based out of Hillel, or one of our learning cohorts that meet weekly for you to really explore your Jewish identity through conversation with your peers. As Alyssa was mentioning, there's kosher food in the dining halls. And we also, and it's not like it's a part of the regular meal plan, And we also have a kosher kitchen at Hillel where we serve weekly Shabbat dinners and meals for all of the holidays. And also where students cook, we have a cooking club and a Challah for Hunger chapter. We also have a social justice group, a Jewish theater group, a Jewish a cappella group, Israel groups, travel experiences, a little bit of everything. And I think that, and it's all student led. And that's something that I think really exemplifies Northwestern, and the Northwestern Jewish community is no exception, which is that students are really smart, really driven, really kind, and really caring. And it's this wonderful blend of top tier academics, Big Ten athletics, Midwestern charm, and big city access that exists in the Jewish community as well.
Well, thank you very much for listening to our little bit of Northwestern. And Monica, I think I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. And so I think we have time for a roundtable question. If everybody wants to pop your cameras back on, we can go in the same order as the presentation. And it looks like if you wouldn't mind stopping your screen share just so that the presenter videos are on screen, that would be fantastic. Perfect. Great. And so we'll go in presentation order. What is one thing you would like students to remember about your school?
It's hard to say just a one thing, but what I think Muhlenberg does really well, I'm biased because I'm an alum, is its full dedication to growth and development of students. Faculty and staff love engaging with students, and it's why we come to work every day. So that's what I hope you take from Muhlenberg.
For Amherst, I would say I think that if you are an adventurous, curious, open-minded student who likes the idea of the challenge of putting together your own curriculum, of studying around a bunch of interesting, diverse people from all over the world, and operating on a small campus where literally everything about the focus of the institution is on undergraduate students only, then I think Amherst can be a pretty special place. I mean, and it's one where I think tight-knit collaborative community is what we pride ourselves on for sure.
At College of Charleston, I'm going to leave y'all with a few fun facts about us. And one of those being that our graduation ceremonies are very different. We actually do not wear cap and gowns at our graduations. We wear all white. So women wear white dresses or white pantsuits, whatever they wish. And then men tend to wear white dinner jackets with a red rose, boutonniere. And then if you want to see more of our beautiful campus, definitely go check out some movies like Dear John, The Notebook, The Patriot, all of which have been filmed on our campus.
I cannot say the same here in Western New York, but it is more beautiful than you might think. And I would say that I think a hallmark of our school is that it has a really warm, small liberal arts college feel. It's a very inclusive campus, like physically, in kind of the old school style with the brick building and the grass and the greens. But you have access to top tier research opportunities that are available to you as an undergraduate. And that's a very unique kind of hybrid model. It's something that I loved as a student. It's something our students thrive within and take advantage of. And Jewishly, it is incredibly cohesive and welcoming.
I think for ASU, the thing that I think is important when you leave is your educational journey doesn't stop at high school. It doesn't stop after you graduate from college. You have to have a set of skills to be successful as a universal learner throughout your entire lifespan. And that's what ASU is focused on, is this futurist mindset of universal learning intersecting your life at any given point, whether you're 12, you're going on 21, you're ending your first job at 55 and changing careers. There's all these opportunities to continue learning, and it doesn't end at your graduation ceremony. So that's the big thing in terms of ASU life.
So I think one really big thing about Northwestern is that something that's happening right now. We actually have the 50th anniversary of Dillo Day, which is one of the oldest student-run music festivals. So I think it's really great to see that our students really do take things into their own hands. It's a student-run event. They do absolutely everything. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the things that we love to see in our students, is that They are extremely proactive. They take things on their own and they are absolutely amazing. And I think someone, just to take advantage that we are on the quarter system, which I think is also a great takeaway from Northwestern. You have a fall, winter, spring, and summer quarter. So I think it's also something that would be a good takeaway. Rabbi Jessica, would you like to add something?
No, I mean, I think I don't know that it's like students at Northwestern, like Northwestern is just really special, and they're, I mean, every campus is wonderful. But I really do think that combination of being like super smart and super kind is like really the thing that I have found to be most characteristic. And the other thing I'll say, this came up in the Q&A, but a lot of students love being on the quarter system because and this is, you're a Northwestern student, if it allows them to take more classes. And so and a lot of students double major and do so across schools. So you could be majoring in, like theater and economics, or you can, there's sort of a little bit of everything. One of my favorite students is doing computer science and music composition. So there's just like, students are really able to explore so many different parts of themselves because they feel like they have the time.
And I'll just second that on Rabbi Jessica, is that even though we're a 6-program school, you can take classes in all of our schools. You're not limited to just the one school that you get admitted into. So it's a great interdisciplinary university in that sense.
Well, thank you so much to all of our presenters, all of our attendees. Just a quick wrap up, when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd really appreciate any feedback you can provide for us. We encourage you to check the schedule. We can sign up for some more sessions, and I'm going to drop the link to tonight's recordings into the chat as well. So you can check out the other sessions that if you were not able to attend. There we go. But thank you so much to all our presenters. Thank you so much for all of our attendees, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Good night.